everyone. It's nice to see you guys again. It's been a few weeks since we've been on. We had some crazy stuff going on, so we weren't able to go ahead and do any live streams, but we're back, and today we're going to be taking a look at Munchkin Treasure Hunt. As always, go ahead and ask me lots and lots of questions. This is more of a kids style game. This is for 6 plus, and I started playing this game with my kid when she was very young, as well as I would actually end up demoing this at stores when they would have special events geared specifically towards kids. And this is a really cute little game. Actually, I did a little how-to on this as well. So in case you want to go further in depth into how to play it and stuff like that, you can go check that out. But give me lots of comments. I have lots of answers for you guys. Well, hopefully I have lots of answers for you guys. I mean, if I don't, maybe Jimmy will have some answers for you guys. You know, Jimmy's my backup. So this is the box right here, and this used to be like a an exclusive for, was it Toys R Us or something at the time? I think it was. And so I'm glad that they have it up now where everybody can get it. And this one is similar to the Wonderland version, except the two are different, have different themes to them. Hello, thank you for just joining me, guys. All right, this is such a cute game, guys. It takes the Munchkin theme and it like makes it into a little kid level, and it gives them like lots of funny stuff to laugh about and everything. Yes, this was originally the Toys R Us exclusive only, and I remember the game stores were so upset with me. They were like, "Why can't we get our hands on this?" Because, you know, I feel like kids gaming is starting to come a long way. We have companies like Haba Games and stuff that just exclusively go for that market. And let me tell you guys, this is way better than playing Candyland 100 times. Okay, I'm just saying. I'd rather play this than Candyland 100 times. Because that's how kids roll. They want to play the game not one time, but 20 times in a day. Okay? All right. Here's the rules for this. The rules are pretty easy to understand and everything. They got lots of pictures on here and stuff for you. It's not, there's not a whole lot to having to learn about this. And if you know Munchkin already, you're kind of already like halfway there because you get the concept of being an adventurer and going through the dungeon and stuff. So they've incorporated all of those aspects into it. Here's the game board. We'll move these aside here. Game board is not like an average game board size. It's a little square right there. Put that over here. And I know this says 6 plus, but I've taught kids younger on this. The only thing I would recommend is if you're going to teach anybody younger than 6 plus, you get one of the jumbo die here, guys. These jumbo dice are so nice because you don't have to worry as much about kids accidentally like putting them in their mouth and stuff. Usually you can catch them if they have something this big. So I totally recommend jumbo dice, and it's a little bit easier to get fingers around and stuff on those, as well as card holders. So if you are teaching children of ages 6 and younger, or 6, 7, it can be really hard to hold cards. And luckily these cards right here are not too big, but still, I mean, once you start getting so many of them together and stuff, it gets hard for them to start holding them all together. So I recommend having little card holders for them. And we ended up doing like an individual card holder where you'd put them in each of their individual slots, but there's lots of different card holders out there, guys. So these cards are so cute. You get your doors and your treasures. So you have your little treasure deck there. And you got your little monster deck here, okay? And we have our little standees, which are all themed like little kids. I'm going to put some of these under the screen here so you guys can see them because they're super cute. They're like running off with their little hordes of gold and stuff like that. It's so freaking cute. And of course, they do have the double-sided tokens, so you have male on one side, female on the other side, which I greatly appreciate. That's always nice whenever they do that. You can always play without these little standees here. These are going to be what hold up the little tokens. But if you think that they're too small, you can always play without them. You can always set these actually on the board tiles and stuff to mark your places, but those go right in there. So cute. All right. We should have a dice in here. Where's the dice? Okay, there we go. There's our dice. So our dice are like a little light blue colored with a little orange in them. They're really cute. But yeah, I do think they are a bit small because like here's the jumbo size right there. And like I said, I totally recommend doing the big jumbo size dice on that. Let's see here. Okay, so what are the cards? So the really cute thing about this particular game is that when you go into the dungeon and you're fighting monsters, you start putting buffs on monsters. And this is where it gets really funny. The kids love this, okay? So when you start buffing monsters with, that one's there we go, a boring monster where he gets a +0. The kids freaking love that. Let me tell you, it's like so many laughs about just imagining a witch and then all of a sudden, oh, she's a boring witch. And then you might end up putting a couple of these different cards on them. Or they can be a cursed boring witch or maybe, a gross boring witch. And I love these little modifiers. Like this was such a cute idea that they had here. So Dr. Gloryhound, kids are really enjoy battling the monsters on the board, going from zombies to dragons. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do have some really cute monsters on the board. You have your goblin over here. You have a zombie. You have a troll. Let me get the little card out of the way for you. You have a witch, a ghost, and then the dragon. And all of them are scaled differently. And as you're going around the board, of course, there's going to be lots of counting and stuff. This is a roll and move game, so they're going to be rolling the dice, they're going to be moving around the board, and then effects are going to happen to them versus on what spaces they land on the board. And then when you get to a room with a monster, like a witch here, then you're going to be adding certain cards to that monster. And I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to raise this up so you guys can see it just a little bit here. Yes, like the smelly monsters were like, having a smelly monster, it doesn't matter what the monster is, that just makes kids laugh so much. But you can see there's like a little monster icon right here next to the witch. And that's how many cards you're going to be adding to that, okay? So whenever somebody gets to that room, they're going to be battling the witch, whether their movement goes through. If they had 6 movement and they go around, they could keep moving. They have to stop in the room with whatever monster is there. They get to pick whatever directions they want to go into, of course. But then you would go ahead and flip over a card and we'd see what sort of witch this is. This is going to be a confused witch, and this is going to add 0 to monster. So this would just be a 5 plus 0, and so it's going to be a level 5. And then the kids have to end up fighting these. So that's the big-eared. I'm telling you guys, like, these cards are hilarious for kids, okay? The other side of it is, of course, being the adventurer and going around the board. And you have all of your treasure cards here. And actually, the end of the game stops whenever all of the treasure cards have been gone through. So you will go through this entire deck of treasures here. And as you're going through, you're going to have like one-time effect items like your corrosion potions, some bad language. You can curse at the monster. It's hilarious. And those are going to be buffs to yourself. So you could scare the monster away by having bad language. Or maybe you have like a foam bat that you've equipped yourself with. And the confused witch is going to be very scared of the foam bat. And you're going to have to end up buffing yourself up in order to defeat this monster. The kids roll the dice, they add the dice plus whatever card modifiers that they have, and they just do a simple, okay, is this higher, equal then, or higher to the monster? And if it is, then they win. And if it isn't, then they have to run away from it. And it is such a cute game. This always, always, always goes over well at any sort of game shop. And I've done quite a few panels and stuff like that on teaching kids how to game. So if you guys have any questions specifically about kids and gaming and what to get them to stay at the table and stuff like that, like I've done all sorts of stuff on it. had a great time demoing this game for families at Game Depot, Arizona. That's right. We went down to Game Depot, Arizona, and we did a big, big Munchkin Day. And it was nice to be able to provide the kids with something to play as well as the adults because regular Munchkin's a little bit harder for like a 6-year-old to understand, and this perfectly fills that gap for everything. Like it works out so well. So as you're moving along, I'm going to discuss some of the other items that they have here on the map. We have little icons like this here, which are going to be your dice icons. So everybody starts at the entrance here, and then you can move in 4 different directions. If you land on a dice icon here, you get to roll again, which is nice because they're just rolling dice to move on that. And then if you land here, you end up taking a treasure card. If you land on anything that has a monster face on it, you're going to be automatically teleported to that portion of the cave, which there are really hard monsters on here. For example, we have the dragon over here, which is a power level of 12, and he gives you out 5 treasures if you defeat him, but still, like the power level 12 and then tossing 2 cards on top of that can get like very big for kids. And plus it's a good, like I said, it's a good counting skill for them to keep intact. You know, count, okay, we start at 12 and then we go higher as we go ahead and go through the cards here and stuff. And they make the cards where you're not going to have like a +5 to monster or anything like that. I think the max it goes up to is 3. I'm going to take a quick look here. Yeah, the max it goes up to, oh no, we do have like 1, 5, and a couple of 4s. But the majority of these cards are in that 0, 1, and 2 range, you know? Out of all of the cards here that we have for monsters, we only have 2 5s and about 3 4s. So they're really not having to count super high or super off. It's just in multiples of maybe like 2s and 3s and stuff like that. What are some other games? Let's see here. Dr. Gloryhougnd says, what are some of the games you first introduced kids to? Games like this are perfect because I always think that this at least is interesting for me. You don't want to play a game with a kid that is going to be really boring or you're not going to enjoy yourself. Because if you're not enjoying the game yourself, your kid picks up on that and then it's going to not be as fun and exciting for kids if you're not enjoying yourself as well. So you need to make sure that you're enjoying the game as well. Anything like this where you have limited words and smaller actions. So they get 1 action on their turn and that's it. You know, the 1 action that they end up doing might have them roll twice, you know, where they can move a couple times, but they're not doing a whole lot of stuff. You want games with limited choices. So it doesn't necessarily have to be, I mean, you could go and try to teach your kids Lords of Waterdeep, you know, but you just need to make sure that they have limited choices, which that game does have limited choices in it. You know, the less that they have to pick from, the easier the game is going to be to teach them. Okay? Because then they're not going to be confused with, oh, what happens here? What happens there? You know, they just pick 1 out of, say, 2 or 3 things, or just 1 out of 2 things would be best. And then when they pick that, then they start picking up through the game, okay, these things happen when this happens, and it makes it super easy for them to play, okay? This one here, I like the fact that it does have a easier to read language on it, I think. So you're not incorporating a whole lot of reading into it right away, especially for someone who's very young, you know? Let's see here. Personally, I like games with dice in them. Kids seem to really like rolling dice more than just reading cards. That's very true. If you can play games where you're not reading cards as much as their first games, whenever you know they're 6, 5, 6, even 4. I think we started our kid at, I want to say she was like 2 or 3 or something like that, rolling dice with like a King of Tokyo style game because the games like this were not necessarily out yet, you know? Like we had a limited group of games to work with. But again, that was a game that had big dice in it. we took out, some of the cards in it and stuff like that. So there was limited reading. The rolling was really fun. If your kids are having a hard time rolling, dice towers work out really great. So they don't have to, like tiny hands, they can only hold so much in their tiny hands, guys. They don't have to worry so much about rolling them. But dice towers work out really well. And plus, nobody gets any hurt feelings whenever the dice tower is rolling against you. But it makes it so it's interactive, so you don't have to play with them. They can play on their own. They can make their own choices. They can mess up and make a wrong choice and everything. They can do all sorts of things. That's the best part about teaching a young kid games is they get that ability to make all those cool choices that they're not usually going to be able to make and mess up on things and see the results in action and not get yelled at. It makes it nice and easy for them. Yeah, so how did we convince a 3-year-old to stay at the table? Let's see here. There weren't a lot of options between Monopoly, Risk, and D&D back in the day. That's very true, Jimmy. There's so many more kids games now, but even if you're looking through the kids games now and stuff, I still have where some of them are just not interesting games for me. And again, if they're not interesting for me, then they're not going to be as interesting for the kid. And when they want to play it their 500th time, I'm not going to want to play that game. So it better be interesting. Uh, you know, that's a good question about convincing a 3-year-old to stay at the table because we all know that little tiny, tiny kids don't have huge, huge attention spans. Look at this mystery meat sandwich, guys. Speaking of short attention spans, no. So, as a kid, I always allowed my kid to walk away from the table whenever they wanted. They could play the game for as long as they wanted. They could come back. They could, leave for a little while and then maybe they would play a couple turns, then they'd leave again. And as a parent, you just have to end up where you are playing the game differently. You need to change the way that you're playing the game because if they don't have frustration at the table because you're like, oh no, you have to stay, and then they get antsy and they don't want to wait and stuff. If there's no frustration at the table, they're apt to stay at the table longer, guys. So if you keep them at the table longer, they're going to want to interact with the game longer, and then it's going to just build from there. They're going to get more interested in the game and where it's going and be able to see the beginning result and the end result of the game and flowing back and forth. And by the time you know it, they're going to be at the table for a full 30 minutes, which is like huge for a 3 or 4 year old. Okay. And that was about the range in that like 3.5, I want to say, where my kid was staying at the table the entire time for the game. And I know there's some like 11-year-olds out there that can't stay at the table for that long. It's just a matter of building that attention span in them. And it happens slow, but this is a fantastic game to keep them interested with like the funny sort of quotes and stuff like that going on in it. Like anything that is extra funny, like the King of Tokyo style monster thing where they're big giant monsters and they're fighting this thing. Oh, they're going into a dungeon here and they're fighting these monsters and oh my gosh, I'm going to kill this monster with one good solid burp. And then that just keeps them so much more entertained and invested in the game and them getting to build themselves up in this game. Like let's take a look at some of the permanents. So with the cards here, the treasure cards, you're going to be collecting as many treasures as possible in this game to win because at the very bottom of these cards you can see all of the treasures have like a gold value on them right there, and that's what you're going to be totaling up at the end of the game to see who the winner is with as much gold. Okay, and there's going to be lots of one-time effect cards in here, like your one good solid burp, and then there's going to be permanent ones. Okay, this is a fantastic permanent card right here. This is what I need right now. Some protective kittens. And I'm going to actually wear these protective kittens and I'm going to keep them in front of me and they're going to give me a +2 bonus here, okay? And you can have 2 permanents out at a time, okay? If you want to remove a permanent, you take it off and you get rid of it, and then you put another one down. But just like, they think in those pictures, having those 2 tiny little kitties there next to you, making sure that you're protected and stuff is super freaking adorable, guys. We have, what are some other really cute little permanent ones? Let me see here. We have wading boots here, a sturdy helmet. Let's get on some of these. These are super cute cards. And then you do have options to make a few of the blank cards. If you're really good at like making your own cards and art and stuff like that, they do give you options to do that as well, which is also nice. What other permanents do we have? Is that it? Put our wading boots down. Maybe I already put a couple under the camera. But having those cards there and stuff like that, they're so adorable, guys. Like, this was a super big win for me whenever we played it. My kid enjoyed it. I mean, I don't think we've played with any kid that hasn't enjoyed it. Still better than Candyland. Has a bit of the same premise where you're like rolling or having like that roll and move sort of portion, so it's a simpler game, but it does add more math skills. I mean, they get a whole lot more learning out of this game and stuff. It's fantastic. We're also going to take a look at the Wonderland one probably in a few weeks here. And what else do we have going on? We have FnordCon. Okay, so if you guys are interested in hanging out with all of the Steve Jackson game people, we're going to have FnordCon on April, I think it's 6th, 7th, and 8th, or is it's 6th and 7th. 6th and 7th. So that's should be a Saturday and a Sunday. Tickets for that are $40. That's going to be held in Austin, Texas. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure to head on over to the Steve Jackson Game website and get tickets for those. And if you guys have any other questions about kids and gaming and stuff, let me know, okay? So everything that comes in the box is the board. We got some dice, like I said. Make sure and pick up a jumbo die as well for little kids so you don't have to worry as much about the dice. I know that always freaked me out in the very beginning. Yep, FnordCon is Saturday and Sunday on that. Like I said, $40 for admission tickets. You also get a swag bag whenever you do that, which is really nice as well because, I mean, who doesn't like swag? And they have t-shirts available online and cups available online, all sorts of stuff. What else do we have? I know that Steve Jackson just did a Kickstarter. We did the Dungeon Fantasy Monsters 2 Kickstarter that is up right now. And are they reprinting the other book as well? Let's go take a look at that, guys. Let's go take a look at our browser. We're switching over to Dungeon Fantasy. Had this queued up just in case we wanted to talk about it. We'll do a quick little look at it. I actually haven't gotten a chance to look at this myself just yet. And it says right here by Warehouse 23, they're doing a lot of their RPG content and stuff like that and reprinted stuff and everything through Warehouse 23 now, which is nice. So just be aware. I know sometimes I'll see things on different like game sites. Like I know, oh, Steve Jackson does all this stuff, but why is this person doing this? Like that seems weird. Totally legit. Warehouse 23 on there, okay? But we have Dungeon Fantasy, and this is their Monsters book, it looks like. Ooh, their GURPS books are so pretty. Like the art that they have on the covers for them. Okay, so they have the game and a reprint. I thought they were doing reprints and stuff like that. Ooh, they have exploits. I smell a rat. Regular monsters, adventures. Oh, this is going to be a nice, like, reprint, guys. Look at that. Ooh, that's exciting. Austin, Taco Town, Texas. Oh, that's right. Taco Town, Texas. Austin is in love with tacos, guys. I don't know if you knew that. If you go to Austin, you got to eat the tacos because, man, that's where it's at apparently. And the FnordCon t-shirts are sold out right now. Oh, man. That happened so fast, Jimmy. Well, thanks for letting us know. Oh, my gosh. Well, too bad for Dr. Gloryhougnd. He's not getting a shirt. So I believe this Kickstarter just started. Was it today or yesterday? Like it just started. It just went up. Add-ons, we have some of the Welcome to Dungeon Fantasy PDFs. What else do we have on here? Yeah, I'm really digging all the dungeon fantasy art on here. So I have a bunch of the GURPS books at home and everything, but I haven't actually gotten to play a whole lot of GURPS. A dungeon fantasy bundle for a $30 add-on, the spells and everything. So with these books here, I always like the fact that they have like one system and you can play a whole bunch of different things with them, which is really nice. Oh, the Nordcon glasses are still available. And this went up just yesterday. Yeah. I thought it had just gone up. Look at those dice, guys. I love these dice. I think I have a black pair of these or something. Yeah, I have a black pair of these from my MIB loot thingy from last year and stuff like that. I like the red and blue ones though. Those are fantastic. I need to get my hands on some of those. Oh, guess who's going to be back in this? New to GURPS. Oh, okay. So, yeah, here's the other thing. If you are new to GURPS, you can go into the Steve Jackson Games website and they actually have a link for GURPS Lite. Or maybe that's on no, they should have it on the Steve Jackson Games, like Warehouse 23. You go on there and you can search for GURPS Lite and you can get like a free download, I believe. You just have to create an account in there. And it gives you like a little tiny run over of kind of how to play GURPS and like, a get you started sort of little pamphlet sort of thing. I don't know how many pages it is. I wish I would have like prepared so I could have showed you what it was. But you can download that and get like a quick little overview of the game and how to play and like do like a small little game. And then if you like it, like you can come and back this. Like I really enjoyed the fact that Warehouse 23 gives you those options on there where you can get some of like the free content and stuff like that. You can just download PDFs for that sort of stuff. I know there were some other things that I had downloaded from there that I thought were really nice. Oh, okay. So for the stretch goals, it was just that one bar there. But it just makes it really nice to be able to try before you buy, guys? So, GURPS Dungeon Fantasy Adventures 2, The Tomb of the Dragon King, and then Mirror of the Fire Demon. And those are two adventure sets there for 250 to 300 pages. Wow. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm always excited. Like the D&D style games are making a huge comeback over the past few years thanks to Critical Role. And then, like every other person that wants to be out there and be doing a Critical Role style thing, I mean, you have all sorts of crazy shows you can watch now about character player. Now you don't have to tell people about your character. You can just videocast or podcast about your character and then send them the link. I mean, that's the magic of it, right? All right, so stretch goals here. We have plus 4 pages for one journal. Let's see here. I'm going to have to read more about this. I'm not sure exactly what the stretch goals are all about on that. And we'll have to take another look at this on another day, though. I'm super excited about the big reprint pack, though. I know with Fantasy Trip, they did a huge thing for that. And, like, it was so nice it being bundled in, like, a gigantic box and everything. Like, that thing was amazing. So I'm excited to see where all of their stuff goes here. Because, of course, they don't release all of their stretch goals and campaign goals all at once, guys. If you guys have any other questions for me, let me know because I am here to answer lots and lots of questions for you guys. Also, we won't be doing any sort of video on Thursday because I will be at Dice Tower West. The week after that, we got some cool stuff going on. I'm not sure what exactly I'll be demoing, but I know I got like a whole bunch of great stuff in to open. We have Munchkin Shakespeare. I think Munchkin Shakespeare might be next week, which is one of the few sets that I have not gotten to see or open. It was a Kickstarter like exclusive thing that they did just for the fans and it went like super crazy, so I'm super excited to see the deluxe version of that and everything. And gosh, what else? We're going to look at another kids game. We have Car Wars, the card game, so we have some classic things like Ninja Burger and stuff. We have an ogre set battle box I'm going to be opening. That's going to be exciting, the ogre battle box. I really want to see what's inside there. I like ogre the game, but I don't have as many people in my area that play it. A lot of those people play up in like northern Phoenix and stuff, so like I don't end up getting to play as much out there. And what else, guys? Do we have anything else we want to talk about today? Stretch goals are extra pages in the book plus some blank journals with cover art from the game. Oh, I like the blank journals with cover art from the game. Like I hope that they do some like goals where you can buy those specifically because that would be nice. Because it's always nice to have a journal when you're playing D&D that you can write all your stuff down in, all your secret notes and everything. That's always nice. But the dungeon fantasy art is fantastic. Like I should probably look and see who does the art on that because like it is amazing. It's so colorful and vibrant and everything. Like I've always liked the art on that. That's so pretty. Like so nice. But like I said, Dice Tower West this weekend. So if you guys are around there, check me out, hang out, say hi. Maybe I'll bring some Munchkin stuff with me and everything and hand out stuff if you guys ask me. And what else do we got going on? Then I'll also be at FNORDCon, and that'll be at the end of the month. Next month, we'll be at Arizona Game Fair. We'll be there. I'll be talking about stuff. And it's going to be like a super crazy month full of cons for me. I got like 3 cons in the next 4 or 5 weeks. So I'm going to be busy and I'm going to be live. So I will see you guys all next week, Tuesday, Thursday at 3 p.m. Central Time. We're continuing our live shows, all right? Other than that, I will see you guys later. Have a good day.